what customers are going to expect from future HMI SCADA software is that it'll be something that provides them more without having to have as much energy to go in. And so we've constantly been working on reducing the amount of energy that it requires to put systems together. Or I think ultimately in the future, with the explosion in numbers of devices, there's going to be an expectation that they're going to be able to do these things in real time. So in real time, I'm going to be able to go in there and expand my system without having to go back and re-engineer solutions. These solutions should automatically generate themselves so that I come back and I can add the pieces and parts that I need without having to re-engage engineers to come back and correct my systems in real time. And so then I was going to have to not only address scope, but also not just scope in just terms of the equipment that it's looking at, but also be able in the type of information. So we're going to have to not only work at it from the device side, but also from the information that I'm going to want to put into context. Those things are going to become standard requirements out of HMI and SCADA packages going forward.
Lower cost of ownership. I think that is what the customer is expecting out from the SCADA software. In the past, we have seen customers, they can afford to spend maybe like 6 months to implement a HMI system. Nowadays, the customers is coming back and say, oh, I need the system to be up in 1 month, 2 months. So how do we engineer the system within such a short time? So the lower cost of engineering, engineering efficiency, these are the things that the customer is expected. So from the life cycle point of view, they are looking into a lower cost of a maintenance on the system. So if they want to add in the functionality, how the system allowed them to extend on the system to add in more functionality without changing a lot of the fundamentals that are already put into the system, right? So these are the things that the customer is expecting. For someone entering the industry, I think the advice is that they better work for the right company. So I would say that another aspect is that learning the technologies, learning the right way of engineering the system, learning the fundamentals in how the efficiency, how do we build up the efficiencies of the system from using the right platforms. I think that would be the key part.
Yeah, I think a key point is keep it fresh, right? So I think technology is evolving at a faster pace than ever and will not stop. I think we'll continue faster and faster. So in the past, you could become an expert in this kind of systems and reuse the same concepts for many years in a row. And now if you don't keep updating yourself, learning new technologies, learning new ways of doing things, thinking out of the box, in a couple of years you are outdated already, right? And unable to compete with other companies, other people that continue evolving and learning new ways of doing things more efficiently. So I think more than ever you need to recycle yourself continuously. And another important point is when you make a decision about a solution, a design, a product, a brand, thinking long-term, not only short-term. So make decisions based on what not only resolves your problem today, but also provides a lower TCO or a higher return on investment in the long term. Tools that gives you the openness and extensibility to keep evolving over time.
Yeah, I guess that's what I'm trying to allude to. In other words, is evaluate how all these tools in the market is going to help you to improve on your operational efficiencies. So definitely, I think for someone that trying to impact on the change in the company, you ought to basically choose the right platform, choose the right technology to start off with. But the fundamental is you need to have a business driver in terms of what is your business goal, what is your business objective that you are trying to achieve.
I think another piece of advice that I give for people entering this space is that for many years, industrial automation, particularly process visualization, has sort of dumbed down the job. I don't mean that in any disrespect, but I think it's also been considered an entry-level position, but it's more returning to an area of being a profession now, and people are becoming experts in having to understand how to provide the best situational awareness for their customers and to be able to address these types of things, and not just how do I animate a number and throw it on the screen and hope someone makes use of it. So definitely embrace it as a profession.
Yeah, I mean, there is a lot more to creating visual components than just putting P&ID diagrams on the screen. So there's definitely, when you get into this industry, it's and you look more at UI and UX and how that influences operational effectiveness. That makes also your field a lot more interesting, because you're not just that $40 guy that has to put together the screen really fast. No, you have to think about, like, when an operator interacts with it, what would be the most efficient way of getting to my end goal, his end goal. So in whatever you do, always try to envision of when a user interacts with the system, is that the most effective way to get to accomplish what you want to do. And I think you will find in a lot of times the answer to be very different than what the standard prescription would be, right? So, and that can come forward. I would also advise people to talk to the end users that use the systems, because we as engineers always like to think like we know how to do this, right? So it would be good to go to operators and interview them before you implement something and say, like, you know, how would you expect this to be presented to you? So that's a good start for good advice for anybody that would start within the industry, is look out of an operational perspective what you're trying to achieve.